Alright, let's kick this off with a scene that could be straight out of an action comedy. Charleston, 1780. America is smack in the middle of the Revolutionary War, and the British have a new plan. They're like, alright, forget these hit and run tactics. We're going big. Time to take the South. And where do they start? Charleston, South Carolina. If Charleston had social media, you know their posts would have gone from life is great by the sea to help, under siege, send snacks. So here's the setup. Britain's King George III is getting restless. I'm tired of these rebels, he says, probably munching on crumpets while ranting about George Washington. To solve this rebellion problem, the British launched their Southern strategy, thinking it'll be a cakewalk. And leading this charge is Sir Henry Clinton, the top British commander who's eager to bag a big American city. Charleston's the target, and let's just say Clinton brings his entire camping kit, guns, ships, supplies. Think of it as the 18th century version of glamping, but with cannons and bayonets instead of tents and marshmallows. By late March, Clinton arrives with a monster force, about 14,000 troops, a flotilla of warships, and a whole lot of ego. Meanwhile, inside Charleston, American Major General Benjamin Lincoln has around 5,000 troops. They're brave but outnumbered, outgunned, and woefully underprepared for what's about to go down. Imagine Lincoln's face as he looks out and sees the British troops assembling. It's like, oh boy, this is gonna be a long day. Charleston's defenders start digging in. They've got fortifications, cannons, trenches, and a whole lot of can-do attitude. But like a bad roommate, Clinton's British forces just won't leave. They set up around the city, closing off every escape route and building siege works like they're setting up for a construction project that'll take 2-3 business months. By April, the British start firing, and it's not subtle. Imagine cannonballs flying through the air like some bizarre historical fireworks show. Every day it's boom, boom, boom. Charleston's residents must have felt like they were trapped in a never-ending concert of the worst kind. Clinton's troops bring in the heavy artillery and they just keep hammering away. But it's not just a straight-up bombardment. Clinton's out there with his classic slow and steady British style, systematically closing in on the city. He's like, why rush? We'll just build siege lines closer and closer until Charleston basically surrenders out of sheer exhaustion. On the American side, Lincoln's scrambling, trying to rally his troops and somehow keep morale up. He's sending desperate messages for reinforcements like he's ordering takeout. Urgent! Need men, supplies, hope. We'll pay extra for express delivery. As April drags into May, Charleston's situation goes from bad to worse. Supplies are running out. The citizens are freaking out. At this point, even the pigeons are probably thinking, we gotta get out of here. The British troops are basically setting up camp just outside the city, probably roasting marshmallows and telling ghost stories about George Washington. Meanwhile, inside Charleston, morale is dropping faster than a cannonball. And then there's the British fleet under Admiral Marriott Arbuthnot chilling on the harbor like, hey, remember us? They're cutting off any potential escape by sea. Charleston's bottled up on land and water, and the pressure's on. If this were a modern-day reality show, this would be the moment where the narrator dramatically says, will Charleston make it out alive? Or will they be the next city to fall? By early May, Lincoln realizes they're out of options. He's looking at his exhausted troops, dwindling supplies, and a massive British force that's practically parked on his front lawn. Clinton sends him a message, something like, hey, just give up already. This is getting embarrassing for both of us. Lincoln, desperate to save what's left of his forces and protect Charleston's civilians, begins surrender negotiations. Lincoln's probably thinking, maybe if I surrender now, they'll go easy on us. But Clinton, true to form, wants total unconditional surrender. No fancy terms, no extra perks, just pure straight up surrender. It's like when a boss tells you, no, you're not getting a bonus, just be glad you have a job. On May 12, 1780, the moment comes. Charleston surrenders. Clinton walks in like he's the guest of honor at a victory parade, and the British officially take control of the city. The Americans are left to pack up what's left of their pride as they march out of Charleston. The British, meanwhile, get one of their biggest wins in the entire Southern campaign, and Clinton's probably patting himself on the back all the way back to his tent. But here's the kicker. This glorious victory for the British is not exactly the game changer they think it is. Sure, they control Charleston now, but holding it is a whole other story. The Southern rebels aren't about to just let this go. If anything, this loss fires up the American forces, leading to a brutal guerrilla war in the southern backwoods that'll make life a nightmare for British soldiers in the years to come. In the end, the siege of Charleston is a big moment for both sides. For the British, it's a tactical win, but it doesn't bring them any closer to winning the war. For the Americans, it's a tough loss, but it solidifies their resolve. This siege becomes a rallying cry, a reminder of what they're up against, and it fuels a fierce determination to keep fighting. And so Charleston may have fallen in 1780, but the spirit of resistance, that's only getting stronger. The British might hold the city, but they're about to find out that conquering land is one thing, conquering a cause, that's a whole different battle.